Hi y'all, it's Charlene from the Crafty Art Shack, and today we're going to be making a project out of these little gingerbread men and this sign right here. So let's get to the craft desk and get started. You guys, here we are at the craft desk, and I took 14 of these little gingerbread men. That's one pack, and I used classic caramel and chocolate sprinkle. Now I'm going to paint every other one. In other words, I'm going to paint 7 of them in classic caramel, and then I'm going to paint 7 of them in the chocolate sprinkle. And that way I have 2 different little gingerbread men. Okay, you guys, we're going to make sure we paint the sides of these. Oops, I dropped it. See, guys, even we make mistakes here at the Crafty Art Shack. But I'm going to paint 7 of these, and I'm going to make sure I get the sides of them really well. 7 are going to be in this color, and 7 are going to be in the chocolate. Okay, now that we've got them all painted, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our chocolate sprinkle and water it down, and we're going to use it to embellish these classic caramel ones. And with it watered down, it makes it very light, and when you go around it, it gives that little baked edge around I'm showing you I'm using the number 10 brush. It's basically just one of the one-stroke brushes that are smaller. And I'm just going around the edges so that it looks like it's baked. And then for the chocolate ones, we're going to go around them with the classic caramel, doing the same thing. And this is what it looks like when I hold it up close so you can see it compared to the other one. See how it gives it that little baked edge? That's what you want, since these are going to be little gingerbread cookies. Okay, you guys, now we're going to add little faces and things to their little body. And here's how we're going to do it. I already made up these 2 so that you can see what they're going to look like. And here's how we did it. We took the tip of our brush and we added some little buttons, and then on both of them. And I'm showing you what it looks like on the light colored one and the darker colored one. Okay, now we're going to add his little eyeballs. We're going to add 2 little dots. And I kind of offset mine because I like it that way. But if it goes down equal like it did on the little classic caramel one, it's okay. Then I'm going to put some little zigzag lines on here for his little arms, on his arms and on his legs. And what am I doing now? Okay, I think I'm getting ready to do his legs. Yep. Oh, no, touch that up. Okay, if it doesn't get dark enough, you could just go back in there. Now, you guys, I'm using that brush that comes in the kit that's got really long tip on it so that it's flexible, so that it does that little squiggly line when I do it. And I found that brush works the best, and if you can kind of water your paint down just a little, then that helps too. Okay, you guys, here's what we have so far. We've got their little buttons and arm ribbons on. Now the next thing we're going to do is take our fine Sharpie point marker, and we're going to go in there and give him 2 little almond shaped eyes, and that's just a little line drawn up and then another one to meet it. And if you just start in the white part and go up, and it's harder to see on the chocolate one, and go up and then make the other one come up and meet it in the point, then it works really cute. Now I'm taking the ultra fine Sharpie marker and I'm making little eyelashes for him because he's just got to be cute. Okay, then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with my pink Sharpie marker and I'm going to give him some little cheeks, and I'm going to just do 2 little lines on each side of those little eyeballs because that seems to be what works the best. Then I'm going to take my ultra fine Sharpie marker and I'm going to make a squiggly line from cheek to cheek and then 2 little smile lines at the end of it. And I think these just turned out just too cute. Yes, I do. I sure do. Look at there. I'm going to try to get the camera to focus in on it. It's not going to do it. Well, you guys, that wouldn't focus in, but I got my white Uniball gel pen out and I put some little white dots in the middle of his little black parts on his eyes. And this is what they look like. I just think they turned out adorable. And there goes my camera. Oh, it finally focused. Yay! And I think it just turned out too cute. Okay, now what are we doing? Okay, you guys, what I did is I took my sign face of it where I took it apart and I put it down and I put a ribbon roll in the center of it so that I could measure out how far apart I want each of my little gingerbread cookie men. And by putting that in the center, that gave me a perfect circle. So now what I'm doing is I'm leaving all the chocolate ones there and I'm going to pull off the classic caramel ones, because what I'm going to do is put dots of glue on the feet of the chocolate sprinkled ones, which are the darker ones, and then I'm going to just glue it down into a circle. I'm going to go ahead and remove my ribbon, and I have a perfect circle. There's my glue gun, and I'm going to start gluing them down. Okay, now what I'm showing you is that I've got them all glued down in the perfect circle with the ribbon in the center of it. So now I can remove my piece of ribbon, and I just have to be careful because some of them I got close up on it. And there I have my perfect circle for my little gingerbread men. And I just think this is turning out just adorable. Okay, you guys, here's what my sign looked like before I took it apart. And this is what it looks like after I took it apart. It's in 3 pieces. Okay, you guys, here's what I did. I got a piece of paper, scrapbook paper from Hobby Lobby, and I laid my sign down on it and figured out where I wanted it. And then I'm going to trace it out with my pencil, and then I'm going to cut it out. But I need 2 pieces. I need one for the front and one for the back. So what happens is I have to cut one for the front, and I'm going to do it all out of the same piece. So I'm going to piece together the back of it. And the reason why I moved over is because of the design that's on the paper. I didn't want that edge to be on there. And then the back side of my sign, I just took the rest of the scrapbook paper and pieced it together to get the design that I wanted. Okay, you guys, I got the front piece cut, so here's how I'm going to do the back side. Because this has a particular design on it, I want to make sure I keep that design all the way through. So what I'm doing is I'm laying my sign back down on my paper. I'm going to trace around right here and then over here on the side. And I'm going to cut these pieces off. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that out. Okay, after I get it cut out, what I'm showing you here is how I turned the piece and lined it up to make sure that it fits in there and the colors show the way I want them to. So I put glue down, and I'm just using a glue stick, and I'm lining up all of my little lines. And then I'm going to lay my sign back down and trace this off of here and trim it out. And then I'm going to take that bottom part where the seam's at, and that is going to be the bottom of my sign. So when I put the back on my sign, it covers it up. So I'm just trimming out the edges here, taking my sanding sponge and sanding it down and gluing down any pieces that need to be finished up. Then I'm going to take and place my front piece on and glue it down, and then I'll sand around the edges of it. The next thing I'm going to do is take my sign, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to paint it in chocolate sprinkle, because we're going to do the crackle paint on this because of it's basically an unfinished piece of wood that they just cut out and put it together and didn't do anything to it. So I'm going to put chocolate sprinkle down first, and then the next thing I'm going to do is put the chocolate sprinkle down. I'm going to paint the base, and I'm going to paint the top and everything, and I'm not sure what I'm doing here, you guys. Hold on. There's my piece that I've already painted with the chocolate sprinkle. And then I'm going to paint my frame with the chocolate sprinkle. I'm going to paint the inside, the outside, upside down, and all the sides that there is to paint on this thing, because I don't want any of it showing or to be unfinished, because like I said, this piece of wood didn't have any kind of finish on it at all. Okay, after my chocolate sprinkle has dried, I'm going to come in, and I've already put it on here, but I'm going to show you what I put on. I put on the Crackle Medium from Folkart, and I'm just going to wait for that to dry, and then we'll move on to the next step. The next step after that crackle finish is dried, we're going to paint it all white. I just use my white acrylic paint, and then once it starts drying, it starts showing the crackle, and you have to apply a generous coat of that Crackle Medium for it to get that good crackle on it. Okay, you guys, the next thing I did is I glued my sign into the back of my project. After I had put both sides of the paper on, I glued it into my frame after it was dried. Now I'm going to glue my little gingerbread men in there in the center of the sign. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I guess I think a round circle, no matter which way I put it in there, is going to be different if I turn it around. I don't know. Okay, you guys, in the center of our circle, we're going to spell out "Let's Get Baked." And those are just sticker letters that I got out of my scrapbook stuff that I got years ago. They probably either came from Walmart or Hobby Lobby, I'm not sure, or even Michael's. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is take my Uniball Sharpie marker or Uniball gel pen, and I'm going to go around each one of my little gingerbread men and give them another little embellishment, and I put some embellishment on my "Let's Get Baked" sign. Then the next thing I'm going to do is glue my base down. Now you're going to put hot glue down. I apologize, I had to move this to the edge of the desk to get it put on there. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I drilled 2 holes, or maybe I didn't drill 2 holes. Yep, I drilled 2 holes, and I made sure that it didn't have this on there before, but I just felt like it needed it. And so I drilled a hole using a very small drill bit, because you always want to drill a pilot hole to keep your stuff from splitting. And then I'm just going to take a wood screw, and put it in there. And now you want to make sure that screw is only going to go a certain depth, so you want to make sure you have the correct size screw for this project. And then I didn't worry about putting one up there by the top of the sign. Alright, you guys, I made a messy bow for this little project, and I put a little snowflake on this project. Now what I'm doing is I'm going in and embellishing around, adding some character to my project is what I call it. And then I'm going to do it again with a little fine marker. There's 3 markers that I use for doing this type of stuff: the Uniball gel pen, the fine Sharpie marker, and the ultra fine Sharpie marker. Now that little bow, messy bow up at the top, I didn't show y'all how I made it. There's other videos that I have that I showed how I made it, but I ended up taking this off this project. You'll see in a few minutes when we get to the other part. But I'm just going around and embellishing on top of my crackle paint with my Sharpie marker, the fine Sharpie marker. Then I'll come back with the ultra fine Sharpie marker, and I'm just going to doodle some squiggly lines on here because I think that just makes it look too cute. It doesn't show up that good on camera, but when you look at it in person, it is adorable. And then I do same with the Uniball gel pen. And when you get up close to it, even though it doesn't show on the video, it makes it look adorable. Okay, you guys, here's what it looks like, and there's the back. Now, where those screws are on the back, I did go in and put some white paint on them to cover them up. And I put the snowflake on to cover up that little spot that I doodled on that I didn't like. See, there's always a way to fix something if you mess it up. All right, y'all, we're back from the craft desk, and look at this cute little sign that we made. It says, "Let's get baked," and I did all the doodling on it, and I think it turned out just cute. But because of where this is going to go, I think I'm going to change the bow out, so let's do that now. We got to heat up this glue under here because I put it down with some super sticky, what do you call it? Hot glue. So let me get this taken off and I'll be right back. All right, you guys, we're back from the craft desk and we've salvaged our bow. It's got a lot of glue on the little pipe cleaners, but that's okay. We'll save this for another project. It's just too big for this one. And how I cleaned up the top of this up here with the where the glue was and where that bow was is I take this metal putty knife. Take the metal putty knife and I take a hot a heat gun. Yeah, that's what it's called. It's called a heat gun. And I take and heat up the end of my spatula. And then that allows you to go right along the top of that edge and just, as it comes to the glue, it'll smooth it out and take the other one off as well. So that's how I take off extra things on the project. Now let's make a bow for the top of this. And for this, because I want what's on the sign, so now we can see the sign a lot better, and it says "Let's get baked." So I'm going to take some 2-inch ribbon that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to clip this little piece off right here because that's messed up right there. So let me get my scissors, and this is wired ribbon, so you're going to want to make sure that you use a not so good pair of scissors. And I'm going to just save that piece because I'll use it in another project. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull off some ribbon that is approximately 12 inches long. And I'm going to just cut that. And this is going to be my little tails for my bow. So I'm going to take and fold it in half. Then I'm going to fold it in half this way. And I'm going to take and dovetail the ends. Just like that. And then that gives you the pretty dovetailed ends, okay? So I'm going to set that to the side. And then I'm going to pull off another piece that is approximately 12 inches. Or hang on just a second. Let me see how big I want this bow to be. So this one I'm going to cut off at 20 inches. Now, to make this easy for us, we're going to get out our little pipe cleaners or Chanel sticks, whatever you want to call them. These are the black glitter ones now that I got from the Halloween, when it was Halloween. Now, I always cut mine in half because usually you don't use more than half of it. So I have mine pre-cut and ready to go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make me a circle like this, okay? Then I'm going to take and pinch up the bottom to the top of that circle. Now, to make this easy on myself, I'm going to take and put a staple right in the center of it. Now you should have this half of that there and this other piece here. Can you see that? And then we're going to just put a staple right there in the center of it. And then we're going to do our little scrunch and pinch it between our fingers right here. Okay, and then we're going to take our little tails and we're going to scrunch them up and stick them right in the center. Now we're going to take our pipe cleaner and we're going to go underneath, bringing the tails out the back side while we're holding it. Now you can do all of this on your little bow maker, and I'm going to just twist, okay? And if you can't get it tight enough, get you a little pair of pliers, and you want to hold that tight, pinch that tight, and you're going to stick those pliers in there just like that and twist, okay? And that'll give you your little bow. See what I mean by you have a lot of pipe cleaner left over? Okay, so now here we've got our little bow, so now we're just going to shape it because this is wired ribbon. And we're just going to have that sit down there. And there we go. Now, this little bow's got a lot of glitter on it. Now we're going to bring our sign back over here. And we're going to see exactly where we want that sitting. Okay, now we can trim these little ends off and then put more hot glue right here on the end of it where we just twisted it. I'm going to put quite a bit of hot glue there. Okay, there we go. I think this turned out just adorable. Now you guys, if you wanted to cover up, yeah, I think that would look. If you want to go shabby chic, put a shabby chic bow here. If you want to go rustic, put jute twine or raffia bow. So let's put a raffia bow right there. So let me get my glue and put some down right where I want it to go. And there we go. Now, that's complete. That's cute. Yes, it is. All right, y'all, we just finished this Let's Get Baked sign for our kitchen for Christmas. This just turned out adorable. So that'll do it for this episode of the Crafty Art Shack. If you like our videos, give us that big thumbs up. If you want to get notified when we have our next video, subscribe. Hit that notification bell. And then you'll be notified when we post our next video. Now, we post videos every Wednesday and every Friday, the good Lord willing. That'll do it for this episode of the Crafty Art Shack. We'll see you later. Bye.
Teeny tiny gingerbread. Gingerbread man. No. Alright, y'all, we just finished our little gingerbread Let's Get Baked sign. You guys, that'll do it for this episode of the Crafty Art Shack. If you like our videos, give us that big thumbs up. If you... something. Okay, hold on a minute. Pause. We'll see you on the next episode of the Crafty Art Shack. We'll see you later. Bye.